Disclaimer: the information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
From the beginning of time, humans have always looked towards the sky for inspiration and guidance. There has been a fascination with birds, stars, gods, goddesses, and other entities which seem to exist above us, and for many humans, a strong yearning to travel into space. Man has dreamt of flight since observing space, and now it is time to become the space traveller. The future of space travel requires us to understand from where we came, to see where we are going.
Several thousand years ago, philosophers Mozi and Lu Ban from China were looking to the wind for flight. They invented kites using silk and bamboo, allowing for the later development of communication, measuring distances, testing the wind, and lifting men.
The invention of the kite brought with it the desire to fly. The first known attempts at flight were typically by leaping off towers, known as tower jumping. People in China, India, and Europe first attempted flight this way.
In 1670, Francesco Lana de Tarzi published a book that showed some interesting concepts. The concept of copper foil in a sphere with a vacuum would produce a vacuum airship. This is still not possible with today's materials. Francesco is recognized as the father of aeronautics, melding science and mathematics into aerial navigation.
The Chinese are believed to have developed the first hot air device. The Chinese lantern using hot air from a candle can take flight and was first used for signalling. The hot air balloon achieved the first human lift and advanced to what we know of as the Zeppelin.
The first attempts at flight in a heavier-than-air flying machine were made by more than just the Wright brothers. Most attempts failed, however, they were the stepping stones for what was to come later. The oldest airport, College Park, is still in operation today.
Airplanes evolved rapidly through the century, from propeller to helicopter to jet aircraft, and most of that technology is used today.
During the Second World War, Germany developed rockets that could go a limited distance. The basic rocket technology used then is still used today. The space race started with the Soviet Union and the USA in 1957 and led to many developments for the next step, the moon.
The spacecraft assigned as Apollo 11 was the first spacecraft to have landed on the moon. The space shuttle operated at tremendous cost. Burning the fuel proved to be wasteful and dangerous technology. The International Space Station, ISS, is a habitable artificial satellite that was assembled in low Earth orbit in 1998 with the use of the space shuttle. The ISS can often be seen with the naked eye from Earth.
SpaceX, as a private aerospace producer and space transportation services company, was founded in 2002 by Elon Musk with the goal of reducing space transportation costs and enabling the colonization of Mars. SpaceX reuses the first stage of their primary rocket, Falcon 9, by vertical propulsive landings. Although, up to present time, it still uses the rocket fuel burning technology. Mehran Kesh has always said, the time for burning fuels is over. But did we need to start with that technology in the first place?
Ancient cultures have suggested the use of an alternative means of transportation. With reference to possible plasma technology,
you can go to New York from Brussels within 2 to 5 minutes. And most of this 5 minutes is actually landing and getting up.
Mehran Tavakkoli Kesh was born in Iran in 1958. As the son of an X-ray engineer, he was introduced to the world of radiation and nuclear science at a very young age. In 1981, he graduated from Queen Mary, the University of London, as a nuclear engineer specialized in reactor technology system control. At that time, he developed a number of theoretical ideas related to more simple nuclear concepts and their applications. In 2002, he decided to finish the full design of his ideas about nuclear technology. This included the creation and control of gravity and energy by the use of nuclear materials in a clean and safe hydrogen reactor. Mehran Kesh introduced the concept of double magnetic fields to explain the magnetic and gravitational field of Earth.
Unknown by the existing scientific community, he wrote a number of scientific papers in 2004 and sent them for peer review, such as the creation of black holes. When one of the persons performing the peer review used his information in public, he decided to draw back his papers and to concentrate further on building prototypes.
Since the beginning of 2006, several prototypes of dynamic reactors have been built, some specifically designed to create hovering effects, similar to effects seen with magnetic levitation. Basic hovering effects have been achieved. 2007 brought the first flight test with radioactive material, in which the patents describe the process of the field interactions.
The main patent, Gravitational and Energy System, described the initial fundamental aspects of the plasma and uses. This was followed by the supplemental patent, Microplasma Reactors, where further uses and advancements were described. Mr. Kesh found himself in Iran in 2008 and was provided all the resources needed to create the first lift of a plasma reactor managed by the Iranian government. These special rotating gas reactors were used to control the plasma. To bring a deeper understanding, Mr. Kesh released the first book in 2009, The Universal Order of Creation of Matters, which contained many new concepts released to the public. This included the PMTIC plasma magnetic fields, initial fundamental plasma and plasma dilution technology used for space reactors. The plasma technology was further developed and it manifested in weight fluctuation in a controlled environment. 2010 introduced a new state of matter called GANS, an acronym for gas in nanosolid state. The GANS produces fields to be used in the operation of the spaceship. Advanced flight tests were performed in Iran with the guidance of Mr. Kesh and the newly designed systems.
Mr. Kesh tells us you can't bring all the doctors with you in space. Medical research advanced in 2010 and is still being explored daily all around the world. The Kesh Foundation has provided knowledge for dealing with many medical conditions in space.
A great example of plasma technology used for peaceful process is the capturing of the USA drone over Iran in December 2011. This drone was touted as one of the most advanced drones of its day, and was caught by Iran using plasma to disrupt the communications. Plasma absorbs fields, and the drone uses radio fields for piloting, a natural aspect of the plasma, a barrier of fields.
Book 2, The Structure of the Light, was released in 2011. This book brought forward the understanding of the structure of light as a cylindrical plasma where the light is in possession of all magnetic field strengths. Book 3, The Origin of the Universe, was published later in 2011. Mr. Keshe explained the further operation and interaction of different strengths of the same fields, which then leads to the creation of the universe. These 3 books bring forward a much deeper understanding of the plasma science that is applied worldwide by knowledge seekers and scientists in spaceship research and development.
There were 2 conferences to release the space technology to governments in 2012. The first international presentation in April, Keshe Foundation invited representatives of every country to the first presentation of the plasma technology. The second international presentation in September, Keshe Foundation invited the nations of the world through their ambassadors and their leaders to attend a gathering at the Keshe Foundation Center in Nenove, Belgium.
Space travel requires peace. The implementation of the plasma technology brings greater responsibility. In 2013, Mr. Keshe brought forward the World Peace Treaty. Signing of the peace treaty is a confirmation from yourself to your soul to act correctly in a peaceful manner.
In 2014, knowledge seekers came together from around the world to learn from Mr. Keshe, and many different experiments with reactors were performed, including improving the previously developed reactors to fit with the new knowledge, introduction of nano-coated reactors, multi-core GaN systems. The Spaceship Institute lab experiments were streamed live on the internet for all to see. SSI lab tests with reactors showed strong magnetic field pulses up to 129 Tesla and showed significant weight fluctuations. In December, an experiment was performed using reactors built by knowledge seekers from around the world. Italy, Germany, and Canada were involved in field communication tests. The tests showed that fields can interact with each other no matter the distance or time, resulting in instant communication.
In 2015, developments for space continued with different aspects of the plasma technology, such as in health, energy, and decontamination. In October of 2015, Mr. Keshe taught a popular week-long course called The Blueprint Teachings about how to build the MAGRAV power units. People from all over the world participated with building their own MAGRAV units and teaching others. With the demand of the Keshe Foundation products from all over the world, a new research center and manufacturing opened in Arizona, USA. Many developments of the technology happened in different parts of the world, and Keshe Foundation USA is no exception. John and the team started performing experiments using different sensing tools. These tools allowed the team to visualize the MAGRAV fields and to show others their interactions. With reactor formations showing positive results, partaking in the knowledge together is easier and more joyful than ever. The fun has just begun, says MT Keshe.
Mr. Keshe publicly teaches the space technology through the weekly Knowledge Seekers workshops. Plasma enthusiasts from around the world participate in gathering the knowledge and putting the puzzle together in the space race. All people, irrespective of race, nation or religion, are invited to participate in the exchange of knowledge, thus assisting humanity to live within the ethos of the universe. It is recognized that international cooperation and peace is a prerequisite for mankind to journey into deep space. Individuals and nations are invited to come together in the spirit of collaboration and unity to enable peaceful application and the use of plasma technology for space travel, food, agriculture, energy, transportation, health and more. We are excited to release the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Blueprint to humanity.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 622nd Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, December 25th, 2025. This is a broadcast of the Kesh Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the public teachings in English. My name is Rick Cremond, and I'll be host once again in this somewhat endless series of workshops. And once again, we are joined by Mr. Mayran T. Kesh here on Christmas Day. And thank you, Mr. Kesh, for being here. And please go ahead with today's teaching.
Thank you very much. Good morning, good day to you. As usual, wherever and whenever you listen to a series of knowledge seekers from Kesh Foundation Spaceship Institute. We welcome you back, and we wish you all the best if you are the follower of Christ in such a beautiful day as the Christmas Day of today. As these teachings have not stopped for nearly 13 years, doesn't matter, Christmas, New Year, Eid, or whatever has been. We are here back with more or less understanding of what is happening to us, what's going on, and what we discussed last week. We started a few weeks ago about what we know as the 3I, and we put you all and us in a test seat for about 3-4 days. Since last Thursday, before 3I gets close to us, we watched it, what it does, how it behaves, what it does, and how did the world outside looked at it. And some pictures of it is still hidden. Some agents are not releasing what they saw in this close encounter. But we are the only structure in the world of the science who looks at the effect of the plasmatic field of this system on us. They have no knowledge, they cannot search, they don't understand. But as we have set up the preliminary basic structure for understanding the work of the plasma, and we have seen that this object was not a usual thing, has shown many characteristics, has done a lot of things against all the laws of the physics we know in the matter state, but everything it did from its appearance, now is departing the solar system, is in line with the world of plasma. But what was interesting, as we followed it through, going through the solar system, visiting step by step more or less every planet on the solar system, a lot of questions raised. Why such a behavior? We saw it splitting, we saw it creating, we saw it going nearest to the sun that it melts everything else, and it created a splashback because it could do, but it brought a number of questions forward. This visitor visits on a specific way and a specific reason. The physicists, astronomy, and space agencies look at what he did, what he created, but everything we saw from the beginning is the behavior of a plasma. And we kept an eye on it. And the best we could do is how to analyze what it does to us when it passes us. I watched and I studied this passing by of the Earth in the past week. What I observed is amazing. is mind-blowing. It's beyond understanding of the human race today. This is why every time this thing passes us, supposedly 3 years, but looks like every 2,000 years, is not what we thought. What we gathered, as you were all here last Thursday, a normal behavior. But as it got close to us, the following day, and passing us very close, still 160 million kilometers away, as I said to a knowledge seeker, I take my hat off to whoever is behind this thing. Is intelligent, is caring, is literally like what I call a bus route. It goes through, but it knows because of the situation, the bus can be in a different position. Arranges is still to be there. It nourishes, it exchanges, it does everything that what we don't see in a physical dimension. When it got to Earth, it did strange things. We monitored the spectrum of the 2 channels which it could work. The knowledge within the Keshe Foundation is so deep that we are frightened to share. But we set up a structure, we set up deliberately receivers, transmitters on its path to see how it interacts, what it does. Last Thursday, we saw pictures of it in the dimension of the plasma. Clearly, undoubtedly, it was normal passing. It was as normal as we've seen, because in our system, we know what our system does in normal condition. And without knowledge seekers knowing, we started setting up the scene the weeks before for such an encounter. It was important for us to understand before close encounter, during the encounter, and after the encounter. So, if you remember as knowledge seekers, I shared with you an image of it before arrives and image of it when it was no contact with us. But the most important thing for us was to see and understand what it does, how it behaves, how it just brings everything together, how it changes us, and what this is up to. I'm a man of wisdom in space technology in the dimension of universal waves, plasmatic fields, and understanding of the creation of life. When I saw these images, it brought me shakes and shivers. I wrote in a simple way in one of the notes that this system has touched humanity, it will touch humanity, and we are fearful of what is to come. As you see, this is our system set up before 3-4 weeks ago, and we see a very normal, this is our normal system. We have a line of communication we have a dimension of physicality we receive from the top, which is the soul area. We interact with dimension of the physicality. Somewhere here is the go between universal energy and the physicality of the man, which we call the soul of physicality. This has been normal. We set it up. We were expecting. We had a blueprint. We didn't have to do anything. 3 weeks could not be tampered with. The line of communication is very clear. But something strange happened in the past few days. Very strange. And the most strangest part of this thing was this chap, Mr. 3i, is downloading passengers. Is literally downloading unknown entities to us. We have the confirmation of it. We can see the line of his channels of existence, and one after another. There was no doubt that this system, what we know as 3i, is downloading passengers. And you saw the line before. Now you see the line. 2 lines. It looks like it downloads seeds. But we had to look more exactly how this system works. How is transmitting, how is downloading, how it's interacting with us. And in the process of communication, we watched it, how impregnates the dimension of physicality to the point that as it needs, it nourishes what it wants. What this means is this guy is very clever. It brings seedlings to space as it goes, and according to that space, it nourishes it. Works on a dimension of the physical side. We see this very clearly, strongly. You have to understand these are pictures out of the frame of the work. We have hours and hours of recording. You see what it does. It transmits in, downloads seeds in the energy level. And then what is more interesting for us is that we, without knowing, as a human race, nourish these creatures on this planet. The evidence of it is on this side of the picture. We've seen this, if you remember, months and a couple of years ago. There is nothing at all except on this dimension where the soul of physicality and the physicality merge to one. And it does it in pulses. The soul exists. We know all the green is a soul, but you see the physicality. And the soul of physicality becomes one. This is seeding. This is how we see life in the earliest stages of the womb of the mother with the child. And for sure, this chap Our 3i is using this planet for a specific jobs of bringing new cycle of life and leaving it behind. It is clear to me that spending hours studying every point, especially, for example, when you look at this picture, is much, much more clearer. You see, it does it in pulses. The first line is still there, which we created time ago. And as we watch the video, this pulse moves in and then it moves out. It means it's downloading. It's literally as a bus, passengers off, passengers on. I'll pick you up in 3,000 years. And the intensity of work with this system is amazing. We have recorded everything of this system on our files. In coming time, we'll release it for the world of science and knowledge to analyze this encounter, this behavior. And you can see here very clearly, very, very clearly, there is nothing and absolutely nothing but soul of physicality. Soul doesn't exist, physicality doesn't exist. It's a pure download. We deliver, let it gather its soul, let it gather its physicality, and we see it on this side, clearly the behavior. There are two things which explains why our ancestors have seen this as a light, have seen this, what we call system, as a journey of life. What we see on this screen is what you saw before encounter. If you go back on the pictures of last week, this is what we set up. We expect near this, but once this gentleman or creature approached us, we saw this. There is no hardly any soul. It's only soul of physicality. This is us sitting on our system. What is clear after a week of studying this intensely and literally watching the videos, every second of it, going through it hundreds of times back and forth, is that we're just a nursery on this planet. And from what we saw in the past 3 months from this system, it's a very clever system. And it deals with every planet according to what it needs from that planet. What its plan is like a train with different animals living in a zoo, and the bus comes, different food for different animals in the zoo, one on Earth, one on Jupiter, one on Saturn. And this system must be carrying not just life from this planet, it carries life from the universe. It's a choo-choo train of university, of universal life, knowledge, food, culture, looking after. It's a newborn, seedling, growing to go. This atmosphere allows 2 legs, 2 arms. Jupiter allows different life. We've seen it when it's near other planet, releases certain characteristics, energies, which matches. And to what we see in deep understanding of this process, there is hundreds and hundreds of pictures have been created, hours and hours of videos from this, before encounter, during the encounter, after the encounter, and 2 days after the encounter. It's very clear this system is highly intellectual, highly, what I call diverse in life, knows the needs of the system, satellites, solar systems, galaxies which it passes. Most probably, in one of the pictures, what I saw is transmuting passengers. This is one of the pictures. It delivers in different strength, different creatures to the planet. Does it feed living beings within the structure of this planet? Deep, high temperature, live different than us. High, cold temperatures, live different than us. And my understanding is yes. This thing is not just something which passes us, it's something which feeds us. It feels for sure affects our intelligence, for sure affects our life, and for sure this time around maybe near is match on this planet. I'll explain this one day why is match. I deliberately set up a communication on a bandwidth of the universal line of communication. This system is not used to receiving this. Different organizations for different frequencies, everything else. But universal systems don't work on frequencies. Because it knows this is what you hear, it matches you to come. The universal system works on universal field energies. Sound has limitation and it has time delay. Universal energies on the field strength don't have such a thing. Even though we understand the process, we could not match some of his, what we call, integral part of his work, but we did. And in certain system parameters, we see the response. I have filed the whole of 4 days of interaction into a file. And in the near future, will be given to those who join us in space development to study. It gives a lot of knowledge. It gives a lot of understanding. It brings humanity to the point that not only we are not alone on this planet, we are like those maybe seeded through the time by the same system thousands of years ago and evolved. Maybe the system approached Earth the way it does with Jupiter and Saturn and those stages of their places in the solar system, and seeded the system for the time when it gets to this position. The universe does not need humanity, but universe needs a seeding. One thing which is very interesting, in one of these systems, one of these recordings, we see the flight of a soul. We see clearly passing through an energy which is correspondent to transfer of the soul, energy without dimension of physicality. We see this a few times in this. There are very clear pictures of it in recording. And what is interesting is, as I showed on the line before, who leaves when it's here? We wait in a bus station. We queue up for the bus to turn up to jump on. Which souls were waiting for to jump on? What did they get from here? What was the level of nourishment? Do they not need, as man and the animals die, to become a passenger of universe? But they choose, they've been here, they're educated, they're nourished. Now it's time to go there with tourists which travel in that dimension. The system does not come close at 160 million kilometers. Is good enough. If you would have come closer to what we see, the data we collected would have enlightened life on this planet. So it cares. It has respect for life. And in so many ways, I keep my distance, that my investments are past millions of years from the time this planet was on the outskirts of the solar system to now will not be damaged. A few questions in past week has risen. Watching this process, understanding this, is that what kind of creature does this? Is not intelligent enough, but manifests itself in a dimension of physicality to travel. It's good enough for it to do what it does, but transfers energy and mass together. What is interesting in one of these pictures is that sending an energy in mass, it converts it into a mass. It's a physical entity. And the most strangest thing is, maybe I can show you one of the pictures, is that it decides when to switch us from understanding of the emotion on and off. This is the picture. And you see it? How it works. In the direction and the dimension, very easily, what it does is brings the life directly in, and in so many ways, itself suddenly switches everything off. You see it here. Means it works without consciousness. And it does this quite frequently. It does it in pulses, it does it in transmission of certain, what we call field strength, that literally the soul and the physicality is a dimension of life. Okay, I transfer you to a living things with emotion, with life. Now I switch back on, I switch back off. What is interesting is how this system, 3I, has been working on this planet, around this planet, and with it. You look at this one here. Why is switched off? I bring it for you. You see where the switch off is? And then you see this. Why suddenly this here? I'll clear the dot that you can see it. You see, it's a transmission of the soul, very singularly a package. How many millions are in this package? It anchors directly into the soul of physicality, and it goes on in manifestation of itself. And then we see strange characteristics like this. And then it gets worse like this. In a way, this is what, as I said, we see in the womb of the mother. This is why we cannot pinpoint who is from this planet. This is literally the soul of physicality. I deliver you, if you look at it, and when you look at the other side of it, I deliver you as the soul of physicality. You decide this planet how to shape you. You want to be a dog, you want to be a cat, you want to be a man, a tree. It decides by itself. And this picture is a very clear indication that this system uses this planet as a seed, as a greenhouse for the seed to grow. Energy fields of what are called citizens of the universe, which can match to the strength of the field of this planet. We don't see any physicality in this. Nothing. So, and the strangest thing is, if you look at it, it's in the line of its transmission. And this womb sits here. It's very clear for those of you who've been here, and if you remember, this system, the way we set it up, has a very, very clear, distinct lines. Dimension of the soul, dimension of the soul of physicality, and dimension of physicality. We've seen lines across here. We've seen 2 lines across here. Never seen 2 lines coming this way. Which means does not touch the soul. It lets the soul to be created on this planet according to his wish. In a way, I leave you here, you decide what you want to be. And what is interesting, again, I'm sure in the future our scientists will study this closely, is these lines. Different packages. Most probably one for the human life, one for a plant life, one for the ocean life, maybe one for deeper earth layers, one for the upper layer of atmosphere, and the rest of it. I deliver, you see where it suits and it fits you to give yourself physicality. So, as the world watched this meteorite passing with its abnormal behavior, and coincidentally happens to be around the longest night of the year, unusual pattern, we raise one question. Which one of you listening is from this planet, and which one of you is sitting duck, waiting for the maturity of the soul, not to die, but to become passengers of this system? You need a longer time. But as I said to a knowledge seeker in the past few days, is what is interesting is a number of points. 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, 6,000 years ago, 9,000 years ago, the sun was not in the position it is now in its galaxy. And the galaxy was billions of kilometers different than what it is now. And our solar system is not in the same position it was 6,000, 9,000, 3,000 years ago. But what is interesting is how this chap knows where everyone is and matches into it. The cosmologists have made it too simple. Oh, it comes and it goes, it's this, it's that, it came close. But it's such a huge intelligence and coordination with the system that if we understand the whole principle behind this work, we come to understand an amazing structure of life. An amazing, what I call, style that shocks us to understand. So there is a huge intelligence behind this system. As I said, we consider our solar system here. I'll go somewhere else which is easier to do. We have to consider that if our solar system was here in its galaxy and our galaxy was somewhere else and it moved to this position over 2,000, 3,000 years ago, and then our solar system again moved in another position now compared to 3,000 years ago in its galaxy, and then our planet moved in another position, how come the system comes and passes it through the same cycle that it is? We see it frequently. It knows everything in its solar system. It knows every galaxy moving billions of kilometers. It's a loose bullet. It can go anywhere. But how does it come to the point, to the minute, to the day, to be in the same place? It's like German train system. Timetable, precise, route written, but adopted, adjusted according to. When you look at this dimension of work, this precision is better than the German system. Over thousands of years, remembering what he has a biological structure, is not a solid thing. He has a plasmatic biological structure, and in so many ways, I put to you one question. Has man made fool of himself, calling himself the only creature in the universe? Or our arrogance of lack of understanding the process of creation has brought us to blind ourselves and ignorance to the truth about the creation? In the process of past week, we have connected a system to 3i. We understand the line of communication. We have matched the line of communication in a plasmatic system. We will connect. We are connected. We cannot break it. It's done. We'll know of its interaction and its process, and it'll be shown in every single system ever we created, because we are connected to it. Our system has said to it, we have opened the channel of the universal and the channel of the field to the creator magnetic field strength. Cannot be there any other way than this. And we hopefully watch, observe, and learn and share. And what is interesting for us is how beautiful this system works. Is a physical entity, but carries a knowledge of the energy fields of the universe. And it remembers like a blood which goes to liver, kidney, brain, and everywhere else, which energy, who needs, what needs to be replenished, which cell and which part is due for its time to be paid a visit to, and what needs to be changed. It's like a clockwork, it's like an energy transfer system, and it's one of the most amazing systems man will ever come across to see. Man of matter, watch this path of crossing. Man of understanding the world of creation, observes energy transfer, is communication through that line, and understanding, very interesting, as I laughed when I heard it, but I shared the joke with you, is NASA and other agencies send the message and they receive the same message in the language of the man, which we communicate in celestial objects of man, like satellites. And I said, the joke was, a mother speaks to a child according to his understanding. Man sends a message in the matter state, certain frequencies, and then he gets it back and is amazed, because this mother knows every language and every age of the maturity of the universe, not alone man. It'll take years to study exactly what happened to us here in the past few days, and years to observe how mankind will change. Every time this thing passes us, brings us new energy, new understanding, as it delivers a spectrum of the fields. In many ways, it matures us, it brings us intellect and new life in the dimension of the fields, and is for them to fit and match the environment in what they want to appear as man, a fish, the tree, an inner living life within this planet and above this planet, this atmospheric condition. I enjoyed a week of confirmation of the creation, in its line of creation, in how little we as human race understand the process of creation, and we're still sending messages and boundaries and frequencies, and then we get it back and we go, hooray, it answered, it took time. This system works directly in line with the work of the matter state when he wants to, and he works directly in the matter of the energy state as he wants to, and he operates both at the same time. Has a physicality, soul of physicality and the soul, and is aware of all within it. It's amazing. And I thank many times to be alive, to be present, to be able to record this for humanity in the time to come. That when they understand what needs to be done, when man matures to become passenger of the universe, what it needs to do. Thank you very much for today. It was one of the greatest pleasure and honor to be able to see this. And I hope one day humanity can learn from it. We have recorded it. Every second of it, more or less, which mattered, has been recorded before, during, and after. That in due course, humanity can study it and bring it to light to understand it more. We go for a short break and we come back. And as it's Christmas, we try to keep it very short and close within 2 hours, that you can enjoy the closeness of your family and your joyful time. Rick, take us for a break and we come back.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kesh. Would you like me to play that video that you supplied right away, or?
Yes, please.
You ready for that? Okay. Yeah. Well, just let me say that this is our break in the 622nd Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And after our very short break here, you'll have an opportunity to ask questions of Mr. Kesh, and those attendees in our Zoom can put up their virtual hand, and then we can allow your microphone to open so that you can ask a verbal question. Others that would like to write down their questions can put it in the chat or the Q&A in Zoom or in the chat in YouTube. Okay, you see, let me get that video lined up. This is it's like a very special product, and I guess I'll just play it through first, Mr. Kesh, and then you can put your comments to it.
Very much. This is, as we showed last week, the obesos, which started as an eggshell, and now this is what it is. Advancement in knowledge and technology. And the beauty, as you can see on it, it says obeso. And it is interesting to be able to literally bring the technology forward so much. And systems like this are connected in a different way, and these systems are connected 24 hours a day to our system. And it brings a new dimension in the work. And what you see, this is not what we said. I said before, the big, large obesos, and now is part of the mass production. And these we have started exporting it around the world. Those who had the intermediary system now receive the ultimate system. The beauty with this is that you don't need to book a time with us when you're the user of this. It leaves it to the ones who bought it to, when it's used, for what it's used, what the income it has according to contract to pay to the foundation for its use and income. And all it is, you need to say what is needed, what's the condition of the user, that the system can be adjusted accordingly from us inside. It has brought using that huge egg to such a small thing, and this still is an intermediary position. I know this will be changed quite drastically in the next couple of years, as it took us 5 years to come from that big, huge thing to this. And I remember when I first time saw the whole VISO in the labs of the Keshe Foundation taking a huge space, and people working in it, outside it, trying to tune to it and place motors and engines in it. And now it has brought us to this point in maturity of knowledge and technology. I thank the team. It takes weeks to produce a single one of these. It's so sophisticated, it cannot be repeated, it cannot be replicated. There are so many hidden technologies in it that cannot be seen by the eye of the man. Hence, the knowledge of creation needs to be understood to be able to do this. And now you see there is a number of these ready to go out, and some have already been delivered, is in the hand of DHL and the rest. And those knowledge seekers who you bought your visas and you thought you're going to get a big egg, the only big egg left is the head of the man inside it, which will bring the change. It's much more effective, it's much more direct. And in a way, if you understand it, this is feeding the soul of the man. And through the soul, changing the condition of the man. It's man who has decided, as we saw with the 3i, what is going to be and what the condition can be. Thank you very much. And I hope we'll learn something from this and from all of you. And those of you who bought it, this is invoice to the value of the what you paid, and you have to pay your import tax and duties. And this is a system that will bring the changes which you wanted. And don't put it again in the shelf, as many of you, when you received your head, the unit, don't use it, put it away. This one needs to be used. If we don't see usage on it, we ask you to give it back. Of course, we don't pay you back, but we give it to some people who can use it effectively. Today's Christmas, and I have a Christmas present for all of you. As we said, we today launch something very interesting, which is the backbone of the work of the Keshe Foundation, which is to bring about the what we call the changes that we want to bring, and what we envisaged to be brought in line, and the beginning of the change of what we call the work of the Keshe Foundation. Today, Keshe Foundation launches an amazing system, beginning of what we promised, and beginning of what we call using the knowledge, using the understanding of the technology in bringing the first steps of the change in humanity. What does this mean? Today we launch a trial session, or we give you something very interesting that it brings the beginning of the work of the many changes that we expect to bring for humanity. We launch a game.
Recording in progress.
We call it this game the game of peace and enlightenment. This game can be played by anyone. It has special reasons that we launch it this way. Anyone can go on the game and play the game and start enlightening themselves with the understanding and the process of peace, and interesting enough, earn a living. For the first 3 months, the game is for knowledge seekers. Get anyone you like to play on this game. I've just posted it on the chat of the Zoom section. Rick, if you can pick it up and post it up.
Yeah, I'll share that now.
Go on this game. In the first 3 months, you earn a little. In the first 3 months, if you pay, understand, and play it, till 21st of March, 2026. Give this to any child. Give it to anyone you can to play. You played yourself. You still earn a few cents, but it's part of the playing the peace game that enlightens you to become peaceful. You earn a living on it. You can earn €1,000 for next 3 months maximum if you played right. And after 21st, the game will change. It becomes part of the cash coin structure and part of the O&Os or an ends which you bought and you participate in it. And in so many ways, there are a few facts about this. I just put it out the way it's put down that we all understand it. The Enlightenment game is going public with its version today. It's a game without any killing and stealing. Instead, it's about helping and learning, collaboration instead of competition. It is free to play. Contrary to other browser games, you even can earn money. Cash coin when you're playing it. Second point, which is put down, is do not play for money. Play to learn and become enlightened. The first phase will end on 21st of March 2026, and on that day, version 1 will be released to the public. And the game gets a full reset so that we all start equally. But the cash coin you have earned till that time by playing the game will survive the rest. In a way, at that date, you will lose your physicality, but your soul survives. The coin is just one part of the new system VKF created. Shops, auctions, emails, chats, secure, file storage, and the rest. And all this will be provided through the systems you are purchasing, that you have purchased. No government, no structure can dictate to us where to spend the money, where to learn, what to learn, and how to live. This is the beginning of the one nation, one planet, one race. We have structured this that everybody has time to participate, everybody has time to enjoy. The amount of the cash you earn till March is very, very nominal. It's very little. But it's for us to see the process, to find our mistakes, to adjust our systems before we launch. As we always shared everything with you, we pass this one to you for us to test it for us. Ask your children, your grandchildren. They won't like it, but they earn the money. If they earn enough, they might earn a few euros. But after 21st, we adjust the amount and the play that some people can earn as much as 2,000 euro per month in, month out. You don't need to go on what we call make fake videos. You don't need to go on a TikTok. You don't need to go on God knows what, X and the rest. But you just play with the environment of your own soul, your own dimension, and you still earn a living. It's not mining because everything has been mined. After 21st of March, we enter full negotiation and delivery of the cash coins to every government and every citizen. The key about this game is that you have to register to play. And you have to register every month to play. It's not I played and I've got. It's set up that it keeps you in touch in process. You move out, you come back, you register again. I need an income. I create income for somebody else. All is the same. Governments, instead of putting soldiers to kill, government put soldiers to play. Play the game of peace because it gives them the money, gives the nation, the government income. This is the name of the game. You don't mind to get. It's already mine for you to enjoy the time. On the registration, your passport, where is issued this time? The income from the side of the Cash Foundation with your registration and whatever comes up will be shared to the government of your registration. You're born in China, you carry a Chinese passport, you live in Canada. Chinese government will receive the benefit of your work. You're a citizen of that. At the same time, we sign agreements with the governments that the income for that is only for advancement of peace, education, and advancement of humanity. You got to realize you might win or you might earn 1 coin or 2 coins a month. It's 9 billion of you. We can run the game for 100 years. We have no problem. We cannot be hacked, we cannot be destroyed, as we can reset our systems in a way that part of when you sign in to play, your system becomes part of the operation of the link in the whole process. In a way, we are launching the beginning, the test run of the 1 coin currency, which with it will connect to market cooperation shares, and it connects to cosmic ray, which what you want to hold. You hold gold in your hand, now you hold cosmic rays, you want shares in your hand, you have the market cooperation, and very soon, very, very soon, Cash Foundation will release in the next couple of years, Shanghai Cooperation of the Cash Foundation, which means we sit on 2 sides of the what we call world of games of the politics and finance. A matching company as Mark Ray will be set up in Shanghai stock market to match the two. There's a lot of preparation has been done for this. There's a lot of work is done, but you got to understand everything has to be equal. The play of the game ingrains peace, enlightenment. Children in school can play it. Grandmothers in old people's home can play it. And you can all earn a living. Man does not need to play to what we call to commit a crime or go hungry anywhere on this planet. Those of you who are able, you play and you give to the others. We look up the structure of the governments in the same way through the cash coin. Governments don't need to go to IMF and to World Bank to borrow, that afterwards they steal everything from them, which is the way they're structured, but they work within the structure of all the nations as one. We lend money, we provide finances to the governments to bring everything man needs. The time of bringing and spending billions on dams is over. With the new technology we release, every man will have access to energy. With the technology we release, there will be no hunger. The system you just saw can be transferred into the line of radio frequencies, can be transferred into everything, that while you're listening to music, you're fed, you become peaceful. This is not the dreams. You've seen the system now is delivered. The coin is in structure. You have paid for the system of O&O to be there, that sits within the structure, and we start governing as one nation, one planet, one race in 2026, as has been promised of the holy books, as all men will live at peace, as no man will go hungry. It's your job to spread this link. It's your job to teach more people to play. We don't need more than 4,000, maybe 10,000 people till March, because we have to see the pitfalls, we have to adjust our systems, and from then on, we are ready to tango. We are ready to play the games. We don't force no nation, but we make it available that you pay your way through the games. No one needs to do drugs, no one needs to do anything else to have a living, to live. Africa, rich people in America, as much as those who have pennies in their pockets today, as there's a mobile phone available to every man on this planet today, a man can survive. Those who decide to live in the jungle, that's their prerogative, they can do. But those of you who become a part of universal community and then allows us to create a dimension of peace. I enjoyed something extremely past few days when, in a way, working for a knowledge does not become, achieving superiority in knowledge does not become a crime. And we saw it thanks to two nations of Russia and China submitting the paper to what we call United Nations. Iran has become a nuclear nation. Now there is no sanctions. There is no one can meet, no child in Iran can go dying because of the sanctions of not receiving medicine, as we transfer medicine down the telephone lines. No government, no one can be sanctions. No one can be put into wars because another person wants to abuse. We should not be punished for gaining knowledge and technology, except it's wrong to those who want to abuse. And this is with the system. In the coming years, maybe 2 to 5 years, you want to understand the knowledge of nuclear, you tap in an app. Every knowledge available will be transferred through knowledge, the system of the soul. You become a nuclear physicist 100 times better than me. You want to understand the language, the soul will be taught. You see the head. There is a purpose for it. These systems have no physical connection, even though when you look at it, you see it. They are connected through universal connection lines. Knowledge man doesn't have. We achieved it, we deliver it. And then you understand how the message of work, 20 years of being here, suffering every kind of what we call possible harm, as of today, the game has started. We don't fight. We let you play the game of peace. and enlighten yourself and get as many people as to play it. You won't earn much, but no man needs to commit a crime. No man needs to sell drugs. No child needs to be put at risk. No man needs to go for a revolution, to go into prison, where we all live a peaceful life. Everybody has access from the jungles of Africa to the richest man on the planet Earth to play the game of peace. Earn a living and live in peace. Don't need to do no crime. A child in Africa gets the same chance to be educated by the money he earns through the cash coin. He can earn up to 2 cash coin a month. That's equivalent to $2,000, 2,000 euros, $2,400. And that can feed a lot of people. We have lined and mined enough to feed the humanity for 100 years. Our message is very simple. Today is Christmas, and we have given humanity the biggest Christmas gift. Play with it. Ask other people to play with it. Earn a little bit till March, that we see the problems, we can solve the problems, and from March on, give it to every African, every South American, every Chinese, every British, Iranian, and the rest. Let them play. Let them exchange each other's money and buy and sell with each other and write down the game of dollars, rubles, and the rest of it. They want to play their game, they play. Humanity plays a game of peace and enlightenment. And with it, we bring in the back of it what we call the space travel, the space development, and the rest of it. Now we give you the biggest gift for Christmas. I hope by the day of Iranian New Year, 21st of March, we bring the world peace much closer when we open it to every man on this planet to play the game of life. No finance. Playing it for yourself, and at the same time, we allocate funds to governments to look after its citizens, and they can do what they like. But as it's like a very much blockchain, everything is noted. No bribes, no stealing, as everything is plain for everyone to see. I thank especially the developers, especially one man who's been behind this heavily, developing it day and night. His mission is like us: peace, no central government connection, but one nation, one planet, one race. I hope we can learn from this, and I hope we can go a step further and we can build a place where our children do not born to hunger and disease, but to a world where peace is based on equality, not color, race, and gun policy. Thank you very much for being here, and we start the game of peace as we promised. Help us to develop this very rapidly, and I'm sure we're going to get attacks. I'm sure there are those who want to hack, but we have everything in the background to meet, to learn, and to be able to match. Welcome to Game of Man, Peace and Enlightenment, and I hope you enjoyed. If there are any questions, we answer, and we close very early, as today is a short time.
All right, that's quite exciting. Thank you, Mr. Kesh. Very interesting. I think this is the way of the future for propagating the knowledge of the plasma technology and the way of peace through that technology. This is perfect. Very nice.
There is no central control. There is no dictatorship. Humanity decides together where to go and how to do.
In the time you've been talking, there's been a dozen new subscribers. It's gone up from 21 to 33, I think, in that short period. So people are joining the wait list already here, the newsletter subscription list. And it's very easy to do. When you click on join the wait list, you go to the bottom of the page and just put in your email, and then check your email, and you can check to confirm it, and
you have to
starts the process.
You have to register, because your registration goes with your passport, your IDs, and the rest of it. We keep a track of everything, because that becomes your ID to be able to work with the coins. This is your way into living in a free dimension. And if you have in coming time, we'll exchange payments of the Keshe Foundation to this coin very soon. In the next few weeks and months, all our payments will be according to the Keshe coin. It takes time, I reckon, between 2 to 5 years to bring in. We have 4 governments who will join very rapidly into this in the background. And then it's the game to change, to bring the change. It takes time.
Okay, well, we look forward to the development of that. And is this something that knowledge seekers can help participate in terms of the development of the game itself, or is that all in the background with a specific team now?
It can be either way. We need a lot. We need a lot of people we trust for certain points, and developing and developers. You can get in touch with us, and then you'll be brought in to be. We will be testing soon the ONNs for their workability to go out. Everything is done for them. It's just testing, a couple of tests left. And then the first 25 and then the first 100 will go out to assess this process. Give this to as many people. Tell them they earn a living. People always love to earn money. Give it to the children. It's a very structured for us to see up to 4,000 people. As suddenly becoming 3,000-4,000, it takes a lot of pressure, but we need to learn. And we need developers. We need people who are expert in what we call cryptocurrency and in gaming and in AI to develop it to more secure it more than anything else.
Excellent. Okay.
In a way, ask people, you want to earn a living, go on this. With the mining, you have to mine. You don't know how much money and time you have to spend if you can mine. With this one, 1-2 coins a month is guaranteed if you know how to play the game.
Okay, thank you very much. We look forward to more details on that as things go along. It's quite exciting. To get back into what you previously discussed about the Ubisu headset, let me just get a picture up of that here. So we have a reference. Malcolm asks, Mr. Keshe, can you expand on the uses and capabilities of the new Ubisu headset?
Yes, Ubisu is €150,000 each. soon we'll get this license in one of the major nations in the next 3-6 months. This is set up to meet the need of the man for every way in space and on Earth. It has two, if you look at the video, the last part, you see two pieces. These two are for a specific reason, which will be done on what we call the wellness side. And has application. Those who bought the Ovisos will be trained to how to use these with their people, because these systems has to be with the people who bought, or with the doctors, and we train the doctors how to use this. For every condition, from wellness to feeding to elevation of the soul, and even in its future steps for transmutation. These are very comprehensive. It's the beginning of a huge change. And it needs, still has huge room for development.
So those coil units go inside these cylinders in the back of the head?
No. Those are separate. These are separate.
Are they handheld, these units?
Yes, these are handheld units. These are not for hand holding. Is specific for certain conditions in the physical body of the man. It has to be done with the doctors, people who know what they're doing. These are connected to the heads, to the head unit. But it's not connected to wireless, it's connected to universal energy lines. Any other question? We initially gave the preliminary Oviso to the knowledge seekers who came to different conferences when they bought it as an intermediary session. This is the more or less the latest model, the latest version, and directly targets the soul. We are not looking for anything else, because our technology works on when you feed the soul, it feeds the physicality. And then it can connect to different parts of the physicality as it needs it.
King Peter asks, what is the ground-to-ground cosmic ray technology, and how could it be used to promote or facilitate unity within a one-nation policy framework?
What do you mean by ground-to-ground?
Perhaps he's talking about the new units that are part of the network, that the network unit.
That is part of the ONN unit you're talking about. Those are part of standard life, physical structure. But with it, we connect into what we call universal line of connections, that you don't need no satellites. I was even talking to a group that we have to build units that we can submerge thousands of meters, maybe 3, 4, 5 kilometers below the sea level in the oceans, that we can spread balance fields across this planet. Once you register, as you've done, your computer, your laptop, your mobile phone is become part of the network that nobody can interfere with. And you play the game, but at the same time you support the whole structure of the World Peace Treaty.
So to be clear, you can still play the game without having one of the One Nation Network units?
This is a game. That's different thing through the One Game Nations. Those are different, and this, yes, you can play the game.
Okay.
You can go to the Keshe Foundation and now buy the coins, not as donation anymore. Please note, those of you who donate or send money to Keshe Foundation Manufacturing, Austria, there's a check your line of donation. There'll be changes. If you see any changes, write to us. We direct you to the right place. A lot of things happening. Keshe Foundation, as a whole in its operation, is setting up a parent and subsidiaries and sister, or they call children of the companies. And we had to realign, reorganize a lot of our work in different nations. So where we operate, we keep one mother company and many subsidiaries. But the mother company never gets involved in any of the work. And these mother companies are owned by the foundation and work that way, where the children subsidiaries can go into cooperation, collaboration, and everything else on themselves. We have separated now 2 of our major corporations this way, and adjust yourself with where we are and how we are if you're working with the foundation. Nothing has changed, it's just internal restructuring was needed, that we can keep the assets of the foundation well distributed out of the line of political positioning. The other question, shall we close if you allow in a few minutes, because it's a Christmas day.
Yes. If we could have another maybe 15 minutes to end at the hour. I have a question I'm trying to formulate, which is regarding the event of the coming and going of 3i Atlas, and from the time of the last workshop and whatnot. And you were talking about at one point emotional connections and what people might be feeling during that time. And a lot of people were writing into the chat while the broadcast continued for a couple of days afterwards, how they were feeling calm and relaxed, and they were feeling the energies and so on and so forth. But meanwhile, I was running around just totally upset, distraught, in high anxiety, and felt like I was at the end of my wits, basically. And it lasted for a couple of days, and I was
at this.
hit over the head with this. And I don't know if it was just me, or I'm trying to get some feedback about that, but people aren't forthcoming that much. And I'm just wondering what your feedback is, or what your opinion is, and about the emotions that are going on at this time.
You're not the only one. I've seen a number of people are running around like headless chickens.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since last week, Friday, Saturday. This is the part of the structure of the fields this system has left behind. Uncertainty within the structure of the soul. And we see it. We clearly see it. This is not coincidental. And this has been a pattern that this system leaves behind. And I wrote, we have many concerns. If you remember, I posted a picture during the sessions and are concerned about what is to come, and it proven to be correct. And this gradually will die away as the effect changes. As what we call, we see we see how things go and how people react.
I felt like it was time for that. It was my reactions that were what I could learn to control. And of course, I've spent most of my life trying to work with that idea, and I thought I had a handle on it, but things kind of went up in the air. And it's apparent to me that whatever that energy is, it's my reaction to that, and it's can be considered a negative reaction in terms of being kind of
No,
unconscious.
we received huge amount of energies. We received huge amount of energies. It's amazing how much energy was targeted on Earth with this system. And part of uncertainty brings this anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And the system transmitted on that line. The 3I transmitted especially on that line to create anxiety. We know what it is, and we know the way it sits. I literally sat on top of it to see when it will stop, when it will it'll bring the what we call the pressures on. This is how it's created war in the past. It's brought destruction. And when I saw, like what you're saying, and other people reporting to us, it's part of his work, creating anxiety, and then uncertainty, and then everything else with it.
One quote you said was that Mark had picked out, we now see more effect of the 3I directly on man's soul of physicality and physicality. What we see is not comforting and disturbing. And when I read that, I went, wow, that's exactly what I was feeling. And it gave me some comfort to know that statement was there, and it wasn't just bringing good vibes and happy times for everyone. It was to challenge us and to allow us to elevate ourselves when we feel these feelings and so on. Well, that's a signal that, oh, I'm reacting in a certain way. I can get beyond this by elevating myself, and perhaps that's the response to our reaction of those emotions in a way.
I think what we learned from this encounter, and I think it must have been shock to the whoever, whatever was or is behind or is involved or is part of this 3I system, is we reckon, because there's a lot of factors when you look at this data, because humanity has become saturated with what we call it 5Gs and 4Gs and everything else, our perception and energies in our brain has changed compared maybe to 200 years ago or 3,000 years ago. And our physical body can stand these things. I said maybe this time was a miscalculation instead of creating a war. We are much better to handle these things, these frequencies. we had the experience of the what we call the radiation to our brain, where it's in a way we've been adjusted. We are more tolerant to certain frequencies, certain fields, because I've seen in this recording of this system very deliberate the diffusion of energies, which is on the level of the soul of physicality. And we have to see, as I said, we know the body does in 50 years, 100 years. Is it transmitting? Because this is something in the future, as we release this data, these recordings, for research, have been receiving transmission on the DNA level. Have we received transmission on the RNA level that it changes our genes? Clearly this system knows what's doing and how has been playing the game with us over thousands of years. It's not a simple thing. I've seen this. This is not a simple data transfer or just passing a meteorite. It's very, very strange. Very, very strange. But we knew what to look for. I set the system, is the first time we set the system this way, monitoring it. We absorbed every cosmic ray energy it sends. We lined up to receive on the line of communication. We lined up if it goes over to the what we call the line to the creator. I know that by heart how to set it up. And we set our system up that way to receive fields of the creation, and at the same time to receive fields of the what are called created, the two different fields. And this technology is now used in development and commercialization in a very big way. Even your headset uses this system. This headset you're seeing is not a normal headset. It works on the universal cosmic rays in a very different way. And we'll see the result of it. As people use it, we've seen it, we will observe it. Shall we call it a day? And
is this question from Miranez before we go and call it
a day. Carry on.
Okay, I'll try to squeeze it in here. Hello, Miranez, if you could go ahead and.
Yes. Yes. First of all, thank you very much, sir. Secondly, happy Christmas Day for all people, because it's a religion, a unity religion for all religions. So, away from that, when I use Saturday, I had this cask, the headphone, and I had to go somewhere very fast, a date, and then appointment. When I was trying to concentrate on my walking with the headset, I couldn't really walk very fast. It was like something heavy on my head, that I couldn't do both, walking fast and be anxious and at the same time having headset. So I took it out, and then I could talk. I could walk comfortably. It seemed like something is working. And
what do you mean by that?
it seems like I couldn't concentrate on my walking fast and thinking I should rush for my appointment. It was making my walking slower. I couldn't be fast. So when I took it out and walked fast, I could do it faster. mean, that's something when normally I wasn't feeling anything, but I couldn't do both things at the same time.
Oh, you're a woman, you're a multitasker, so don't worry about it.
No, I don't worry about that. Just I felt something.
Yes,
Something
it
working.
touched we looked at the news in those 2 days. We looked at the international news in those 2 days, 3 days. Monitored a lot of other things, and it is not just us. Everything on this planet is touched by this. This is why what I've said before. A lot of people do not understand, because you look at the matter state. This is very much like what I call to when you change polarity of one atom, the twin system changes. This system transmits on a plasma field which all of us, any living things on this planet, is built on amino acid. This what is when you look at the bandwidth, this the pictures I showed you is on the bandwidth of amino acid, and a full bandwidth, all the isotopes. That's why you see a big lines. This is a transmission on amino acid. Vegetable, fish, man, animal, stones amino acid, if they have. This thing transmits on a specific target of amino, structure of life, because itself is made of amino acid. So it affects us one way or another. We catch part of it. It's like the strength which was for the amino acid of the animals, they received that strength. For the animal of the humans, we received on our DNA. You understand? So this is why we are all affected. We all receive this plasmatic energy. This is like when you put a pot of gas in a bowl of water, it affects every cell in that water.
Okay. Otherwise, I wasn't feeling something very. It was agreeable, and then the day after, in the morning, I was praying, and then I had two ideas. Like I was clear seeing what something I was looking for, some problems I had from the past. It was clear the cause and effect relation. I just put the things together, kind of clear seeing. And
enlightenment, you reach a different level. This is very interesting what you said, because I have had from number of people this message this week. You're not the only one. Problems they couldn't solve, relationships they couldn't mend, all suddenly it's just like the answer has appeared, or they found the solution for it. Am I correct?
So I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad that there are others also who. Yeah, it's very nice.
That's basically what happened to me too after the days of darkness, I call them.
It's
and
the enlightenment.
we have the 21st being the solstice, when the days get longer, and that always uplifts my spirits. So I'm thinking that's kind of coincidentally with 3i Atlas is leaving then, and that's the days are starting to get longer. So but I resolved a lot of the issues and problems that I just couldn't deal with during those days of darkness. And all of a sudden, everything fell into place, and I resolved several issues all in the same day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very much like that.
This is part of it. We got to see what comes up in the next few years for humanity. This thing is not instantaneous, so you just got to see what brings in the future.
The thought that came to mind was the idea that irritation makes for the pearl in the oyster. So creating a pearl with the irritation we might get from the fields of such an entity.
Yep, possible.
That's what I thought. I thought I was working without knowing. I was kind of working to get higher. I noticed after that I feel good now. It's because these days I was trying to get better, and it's kind of irritating. I mean, somehow I worked hard. I felt like
But
that.
it's the energy we receive. We didn't know how to handle it. And once our energy was settled, we knew how to handle this extra energy. We see with a higher, it's just like getting injected with a higher energy, and then you see better.
I was going to say, in a way, we learn how to swim by, well, for me, I stepped off the deep end of a pond because of on a rock, and all of a sudden I was in over my head, so to speak. And you learn pretty quickly, or drown, but most people learn. And you have to learn by getting into the water that's over your head, in a way. And but once you do learn, you can swim and maybe even learn to surf eventually.
We learn this thing has affected every single being on this planet, without a doubt, from what we see. Every one of us has been affected. The discomfort we feel is just that is something we have to receive, to adjust to what we received, and then by that we became wiser, and we find a solution because we are at a higher level, looking that what was very big now is not that big, and there's a solution for it. This is part of the maturity with the game we set up. You will understand this because it's not just playing the game, it's giving time for you to think. The old Chinese were hardship makes you think, and thinking makes you wise, wisdom makes you rich. And this is where it comes from. But the hardship is not a hardship, it's just that we are enlightened a level higher. We become wise because of it, now we see it. In a way, we receive something from the Father, if you want to put it that way. But who's the Father? That's another question.
Very nice. Thank you. Have a good, very happy Christmas.
Same to you. Have a nice Christmas. We'll see you next week, which is another celebration of the New Year. It's the second time in the course of our teaching we have hit this, Christmas and New Year, to be the same day. Part of the teaching. Thank you very much, Rick.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Lovely.
See you next week. Thank you. Bye. Bye-bye.
All right. Well, that wraps up our 622nd Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, December 25th, Christmas Day, 2025. And as Mr. Kesh said, our next broadcast of the Knowledge Seekers Workshop will be on the 1st of January 2026, New Year's Day. And besides that, we have another broadcast coming up on Tuesday, the 30th of December, with the One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace, with members and support members of the Universal Council. And we'll see what they have to say about the soul side of things. That starts at 4 p.m. again on Tuesday, the 30th of December. Okay. Merry Christmas, everyone. And I hope you have a happy holiday season. And may we all look forward to the game of peace and enlightenment. Go out with our flight enhancement. Oh, I probably have a notice here. Let me just check. Notices. Yes. I have to have just bear with me a second while I get this ready. Have a notice from Universal Council to read, so let me get that up. from Lissy. Thank you, Lissy. Did I get that shared? Says, we, the Universal Council, invite the Keshen Universal Family present at the earth to unifying at the soul level every time, every day at 9 p.m. Central European Time, and every 3 hours, to give through our souls to all souls in existence, to elevate in level of understanding the ethos of Mithra, universal love, living life as a peaceful being, respecting all life and living equal. Okay, thank you, Lissy, for that. And okay, well, again, we'll go out with our flight enhancement spaceship unit. There it is. Thought it flew away for a minute there. And bye, everyone. See you in the next public teaching workshop. Those who have questions left over, please copy them for next time around. And see you later.